Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Star Wars Vintage Collection, Phantom Menace, Naboo Royal Guard. So we're going to continue looking at some of these really cool new vintage figures from the Star Wars line, and we're going to do a look now at the Naboo Royal Guard, which, as you can see right there on the front of the package, is a debut figure for the Star Wars line. So the guards as seen in the Episode 1 prequel can now be yours in your collection. It's great for those folks out there who love to do army building, so let's go ahead and take a look at the actual figure to see how he measures up. Now, of course, the figure comes on that standard vintage style card back, which is awesome. I'm a huge fan of these vintage card backs. You can see a photo of the Naboo Royal Guard off to the right of the figure, and the top of the card has the old style Star Wars logo with the Phantom Menace in between. The back of the card features a look at some of the other figures available in the vintage collection, but done in that same really cool retro style. Alright, so the Naboo Royal Guard. This is a figure that, like I said, is definitely meant for those army builder fans. If you're somebody who likes to build up massive armies for your Star Wars collection, then this guy is probably pretty essential if you want to have a nice Naboo scene in your display. The look of the figure is pretty good. He does a great job of capturing the look of the outfits worn by the guards in the film. It's mostly a lot of reds and maroons, very dark colors like that. But there is a really good shading detail in the actual outfit there. It looks like a bit of a wash that helps bring the texture of the uniform out. Now, one cool thing about the figure is he does feature a removable helmet. The chin strap actually helps hold the helmet in place, but you can just pop that right off of the figure there, which reveals a pretty standard, very generic-looking sculpt underneath. But again, that's great for this being just a regular Royal Guard. Get a nice generic-looking face, so it's not so big of a deal if you've got a bunch of them lying up on your shelf. The helmet is really nice looking with some great paint apps. It's silver with the blues and yellow streaks across the top, and there's even some scratches and stuff on the underside of the helmet, which I think is a really cool attention to detail. Now, aside from the helmet, the figure also includes a blaster accessory. You can see there's a holster on the side of his belt there that the blaster can actually sit in, which is always awesome. And the details of the blaster itself are very nice. It is made of kind of a soft, gummy plastic, so it does bend around very easily, but it is really nice, and it does have some different paint deco on there. You can see the handle's brown, and it's got some silver and some gunmetal color, so it's a very nice-looking accessory all around. And the accessory can fit in both of his hands. You can see both of his hands actually do kind of have the trigger finger in position, so it doesn't matter which hand you pose the gun in, it looks good either way. Alright, so let's take a look at the articulation on the figure. It's pretty standard. If you've got any of the other vintage collection figures, you know pretty much what to expect when it comes to the articulation on this guy. The head turns all the way around 360 degrees. He does have really nice joints in the shoulders, allowing for another 360 degree turn, plus they can go up and down, and they're nice and tight, so they kind of have that lock to them. The elbows have a joint right above the bend for a swivel, and then it's got the regular bend, the wrist swivel, the waist turns. The legs go forwards and backwards, they don't go outwards. There is joints in the knees, which also have that same twist just as above the elbows there, so it allows the leg to twist around. And then you have the standard ankle joints, which twist and can move forward and backward. All of the joints on this figure are very tight. They've got that nice little lock to them so that they hold in place very firm. And all around, it's just a really nicely done bit of articulation. You can get some pretty decent poses out of them. Not super posable or anything like that, I wouldn't call it, but it's a good amount of articulation. So there you go, guys. There's a look at the new vintage collection Naboo Royal Guard. He's not the most exciting figure, of course, but like I said, if you're an army builder, he's definitely an essential figure for your collection. And it's very cool to actually finally get to add this guy to our Star Wars shelves. Now, this new wave of vintage collection figures are in stores now, but if you don't want to do a lot of hunting, why not head over to www.pastgenerationtoys.com for a great selection of Star Wars figures and more. Until next time.